So I'm coming from a viewpoint of a non-expert. Not to say that we haven't thought about the issues as thoroughly as we could, but we're coming from the outside. That's something Helen and I have not been trained. There is a rollout procedure, and we have not been selected yet for training in PBLA. However, we have been reading the official documents, and hopefully it reflects fairly the requirements thereof. All right, so the outline for this afternoon's session runs like this. On the left side, we will begin with the challenge, which is using the PBLA 2012 as a resource, as a guide, and as a Bible possibly, and its key requirements. And then we'll consider the CLB 2012 and what its requirements are, and then we try to put the two of them together and see what really is asked for. And then we'll look at the fix, which is an e-fix, a solution up there, an e-solution online, and this will be in two aspects. PBLA, as you know, is portfolio-based language assessment, and assessment typically takes place in two ways, summative and formative. So we'll look at the formative stuff first using Google's Blogger, and then we'll run over to Google's form to create something for PBLA's summative assessment. And then we'll discuss what it might look like down the road. Is that okay for everybody? Okay, so let's start right in. Here's the PBLA. Thank you, Karen. So we'll do it. PBLA guide. In contrast to exit tests, and all along, LINC schools have been using exit tests, and those are handy, printed out stuff. But I see and agree with CIC on the use of PBLA. Their exit tests are not only end of the course assessments, but sometimes they're not appropriate to the content that was taught during that cycle. So a PBLA assessment here would be a lot more accurate, I think, in assessing students' language skills. This is available off Tutela, the guide itself. So you copy it off Tutela if you like. However, right here, it's difficult to find the Tutela link. I couldn't find it, so I put a link to my own copy of it. So you're free to click on this, and these are all live links on a PDF that you could click on and just access. What does PBLA do? It helps to demonstrate the student's progress. Many of you know this already. It shows, it's a showcase of students' work. It contributes to the evaluation, the outcome evaluation of their progress. 3. It informs the teacher's planning and students' learning decisions. So it's an iterative thing. It goes in a cycle. You help them, and they respond to you, and they clean up their work, and it looks better. They learn something out of it. And it certainly enhances teaching practices so that you know where exactly to focus on. Whereas in an exit test, you just have it one shot. You give them a CLB grade, and then some of them leave, and it's not as iterative. Right? Hey, we're doing okay now? Okay. So here's something that's taken directly off the PBLA document. First question, isn't this all pretty paper-based for a digital age? And I'm heartened to see that the officials are in agreement with us. It is pretty paper-based for this digital age. It takes time, however, for all the schools to come on board. But those of you who are on this forum right now obviously have some access to technology, to the internet, and perhaps some of us could move ahead and start using what's available online. So in principle, it's important to know that they don't seem to be totally against the idea of an e-PBLA. And the other question was whether they could opt out. And the answer is a straight no. So it's coming at us, and how we manage that, I think that's important to know. Further looking within the PBLA document, they would like for teachers to focus on CLB skill and competencies, and in the 4 areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. What is required? I think that's an important thing to note. To establish a student's CLB level is at least 8 to 10 artifacts per skill. To do that on a paper basis with 30 paper-based documents, as well as 10 more for the USB stick. That's very, well, in my mind, it's a little unwieldy. So we are hoping that we could meet the requirements that are stated here, as well as make it manageable for teachers, for administrators, as well as for students on the cloud. I'm looking at the questions right now. PBLA heavy. Oh, thank you. Wait, how long does the evidence have to be archived? I really don't know. Maybe 7 years, like our CRA statements. I really don't know. It stays with the student. That's true. It stays with the student, and hopefully they don't lose it. In our classes, Hala and I, the students also have complete control over their own portfolios, and a lot of them are proud of it. They keep it even after graduation, and they continue to populate it. So how can we achieve the portfolios? I'm going to pass this over to Hala, and she's going to take us through some of the steps that could bring us to a cloud-based platform.
Okay, so hello everybody. Can you hear me clearly, Kit? I guess that's a yes. Okay. So, yes, thank you, Karen. And thank you, Lynn. Thank you everybody. Okay, so how can we do that? Now, to create task-based artifacts, this is something you can do it on your own, and the best thing, if you can have a pool of tasks, you can pull that from. And the best thing is CLB 2012, which is already approved. We don't have to get it approved again. And we have all the tasks for the 4 skills. So that will be our resource. And then we take tasks from there, and guess what? We expand on them. Okay? You can save them on a Word document. You can save them on your blog, whatever, on your drive, and then you can use them for summative or formative assessments. And let's walk through the steps. So next slide, please. Oh, sorry. I'll do that. Yeah. Okay. So, speaking here of the task, now the CLB 2012, again, this is a link, a live link. If you want to click onto it, I can wait for 1 second, but I mean, I believe everybody got you have it, and I will leave the links there. So this is an example. Let's take, we're going to have the 4 skills illustrated in front of you right now. So I'll start with the speaking task. This is a CLB speaking task for level 4. And the task is like this. Respond to warning about a simple bylaw violation. Something like, oh, I didn't see the sign. Thanks for telling me. Okay? So first thing, we need to copy the sample task, as you can see. That's number 1. Number 2, you just post it. You put it somewhere. Number 3, we expand on it. Next slide. Okay? And this is the expansion. So think about other things you could say when a police officer stops you for speeding and says, I saw you run the stop sign. Now, what they need to do, they need to record their answer. And you can see the picture. This is Joseph drawing. This is creature is a female. That's a police officer. And this tool should be a car. Okay? No, that's not me. That's not true. That's not true. But anyways. So that is the task, and this is how can we expand on that. But the question here, how can they record that? Can they use a USB? Next. Well, they can, but that's very hard. This is the PBLA requirements. So we can use it as in classroom computers. We can use language labs or digital recorders, something like as a USB. But it's a lot of work, correct? So there might be an easier way, an e-fix. Let's move on. So, there is something called Vocaroo. And this is a website that it's very easy. You can record things. Okay. So basically you type the Vocaroo website on Google, and this is the page you can see. This is again a live, yeah, exactly like what Joseph did. It's called Vocaroo.com. And yeah, thank you that you love it. It's very easy and very manageable. Okay. Again, this is a live link. You can click on it and you watch the video. So I'll leave you for 1 minute to just go over it. It's around 3-4 minutes, but you don't have to do that. I'm just going to leave you for 1 minute, to know how to do that. You just simply, people will, record. Once they're happy with the recording, they can do that over and over. And once they're done, they click save, copy the link, paste it, so whatever the instructions are. So I'm just going to hold on for 1 minute so you can go over it. Yes, I'll leave you time to check it out. The quality of the sound, it's not too bad, but it will be good for you to just assess their speaking level. Unless they're going to do something like, going to give songs or stuff. That's different. And I should move on. Yeah. Is everybody back here? Very good. So we have some people here that already used it, so they are quite familiar with it. Do you want me to give you some? Yes, excellent. Okay, so next slide. Now, okay, so this is how you can record, but how can you use that? Can you use it for summative? Yes, you can. Can you use it for formative? Yes, you can. So it depends how can you use the response. Use it formative throughout the term or summative. So let's talk about formative first. If you want to use the student's response as for formative assessment, that's what you're going to do. Do I really need to say next slide? Good. Okay. So the e-fix, here's the formative. How can we do that? Few steps. The first 3 steps. Number 1, create a class blog. Is everybody familiar with class blogs or blogger? Yes, good. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Bonnie. Okay, very good. So yeah, this is the link. So that will be number 1, and you call it whatever level, 4, 5 level, whatever you want to call it. Second step is you ask your student to create their own blogs, and you help them with that as part of the education itself. And then next step, the third one, is you connect. So with the baby, you connect all the baby blogs to your own blog through Gadget, the blog list. It's called blog list. Okay? And then, well, I mean, one of the best tips is that you use Google Chrome. You don't use Internet Explorer because you're going to shoot yourselves after. And now, again, this is a live link. So it's YouTube video. Go ahead. I'll give you, again, 1 quick minute. Go over it quickly, and we're open to questions if you have any question, how to create that. I can walk you through it. So I'll just stop talking for 1 minute. Oops. If you have any questions, we're happy to help you here. And if you're already familiar with that, you can let us know and we can move on. If you need more illustration, more elaboration, we can do that as well. Just give me any, Bing or anything once you're done. The student keep recording on blog artifacts with them. Well, the students, this is their own blogs. So they have complete authority on it. You have tasks, and we'll show you how you create tasks. You post it on your class blog. You copy the task, pasted in their own blogs, and they put their answers. And this is their artifacts they can keep. At the same time, the teacher can definitely, check or correct, edit it, and work with it. Oh, Safari. Interesting. Yeah, that's with Apple. I think it can be public. It can be private if you set a password for it. But if you just leave it for public, I mean, who's gonna just create? Oh yeah, maybe password if you want to keep it private for yourself. Yes, you can. Yes, you can access it on your iPad or anything. Should we move on, or you still want to see how to create that? Okay, very good. Excellent. So just reviewing that. So once you create your class blog, students created their own blogs. You link both through blog list. And then next slide. So, well, again, this is another video, a live video that you can use. And here we go. You ask students to how you add them. You just simple as that. You ask your students to give you their blog address. You put it in their blog list. You click add to the list and save. Done. And it's called gadgets. Yeah, gadgets. Okay, sure. We'll move on. Go ahead. Next slide. And then, so once that is done, next step is you create your own task, your own assignments, and that's what we call the artifacts for the students. Again, it's very simple task. Move on. So you post your assignment title, you copy, paste the task, and then from CLB, again, as we said, it's rendered sample task, so which means that the modified one, and you click publish. Next one. So here we go. This is how does it look like on your blog. So this is the task. We put the question, have you ever been stopped by police? What could you say? Discuss your ideas with a partner. And here are your tasks for this afternoon. So that's what we've written. This is the task, completely copy paste from CLB level 4 speaking task. We just write CLB 4S for our own records, because it doesn't mean nothing for the students. And then the highlighted part, this is the part that you expand on, modify. So record your reply in 30 seconds or less on Vocaroo. That's what we talked about, how to record it. And then your instructor will give you instructions on the blog. And then maybe you can expand more, say, listen to it, asks your classmates to listen to it, and so on, give you comments maybe. Next slide. And so, okay, this is the learner's blog. What would they do? 3 steps. Record their answer on Vocaroo, copy the question, put it on their blog, and then once they're happy with their answer, they copy the link and post it on their blogs. And final stage is the instructor give them comments about the content, the pronunciation, anything of that. Okay, but what if it's a writing task? So for a better feedback, you can actually print and give a hard copy to the students, and they can peer check, or the student or the teacher can actually check it for them and update, give them, You cannot see the slides, Michael. That's when we need some help. Okay. Well, I can't see it. Well, I can see the slide. Yeah, I can see the slide.
I think most people can. Maria, I think it's just the view. So I'll talk to you in a private chat. So just look for your chat to highlight in yellow, and then I'll try and walk you through it. Okay?
Very good. Thank you, Michael, very much. Okay. So back to that. So as we said, this is the learner's blog. Next slide. And now this is exactly how the task look like. So as you can see, the part highlighted in yellow, that's the question. And then we have the link, the Vocaroo link. Can you see it? The red dot's going there. Here we go. That's the Vocaroo link. And at the bottom, you can see down the arrow is the instructor comment. So he said your introduction was clear and complete. Very good. Okay, so that's a teacher leaving a comment. And next slide. So that's just an example. Very good. And here we go. We're moving on to the editing and writing. I'll hand it on to Joseph again.
Thank you, Hala. So we have basically looked at what a speaking artifact looks like. I just want to take a little moment to look at what we can do with a writing sample. So over here, if you look on the right side, there's a picture there of a student's writing. And right at the top, you see little words. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it on my screen. It says fragment and some words being deleted. Those are proofreaders' marks. Oh, good. Thank you. You can see it. And so these come from the students themselves as well as from peer checking. Now, who did the peer checking? We can see right at the bottom of the picture, I put a label there. Evidence of peer checking. We have Jenny, we have Xiong, and maybe somebody else who did the checking. And right in the middle there, those are my words, very poor handwriting. But I can read the last part. It says, great job. So that's the process. Now, the policy, of course, is that they have to take this piece of paper with them back to computers and incorporate all the corrections. Sorry, my face was out of the picture. Incorporate all the comments into their blogs. Okay, yeah, I can see the note there. Okay, yeah. Can you help Maria with? I was showing the top of my head. There we go. All right. And I have an editing checklist that I've put there. For those who are interested, they can just click on it and use it. Moving on, the next slide. I'd like to share some samples of what we could do for different kinds of skills. So in this particular example, we have CLB8R, which would be level 8 and a reading skill. And straight right off the CLB 2012 sample questions, we have interpret a chart on average income in Canada based on family type to inform others about conditions in Canada. Thrown cold at the students, they wouldn't know what to do with it. So I've come up with the red words, compare the incomes of, and the word couple families. That's linked to a particular chart from StatsCan, I believe. And lone parent families, the same thing, is connected to another table. And it says over a 5-year period. And then I've instructed them to make a short Vocaroo recording of their advice to a grade 9 class based on their findings. So they have to pretend as though they are a teacher of a grade 9 class. And this is fairly high. Remember, it's level 8. So they will be required to be a little bit more confident than people in level 4 and 5, the level that I teach. And next slide, please. And you're free to modify the red words to your liking. CLB7 here, listening. Originally it says, listen to information about Canada and make inferences about the characteristics of Canadian culture in comparison to other cultures. So there's a video there that they are to watch and list 2 things they agree with and 2 things that they would like to comment on or disagree about, and to post their answers on their blog. So what we're doing here is trying to build a bank of resources that we could easily pull out as teachers. We can put them on a Facebook group or on a blog with protected access, and teachers can pull on that anytime and just put them onto the electronic platforms. or formative or summative, depending. So in this case, it's formative, so it goes on their blog, and they can get on their blogs to edit and to change and improve their proficiencies. Slide, please. How about a writing task? We have covered reading and listening, now writing. Take notes, level 5 here, from an advertising flyer on products, features, prices, and retail locations to inform shopping decisions. So I have a link there to flyers online where they can scour around and find the 3 best deals for this week. And it's deliberately left open how to define best deals. Okay, and the students, my students at least, take some delight in discovering deals and sharing them with the rest of the class. So, oh, sorry, this one ends with submit your answers through this form. Okay, so I'm kind of, I think I blew this one. It belongs really to summative rather than formative, but Hala will talk about forms in a little bit. Next slide, please. Okay, another speaking task. This one is level 4 speaking. Give a brief description of a typical day at home or at work. So beginning with the words, quote, every morning I blah, blah, blah. Record briefly what you do in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Then place the link from Audioboo, AudioPile, or I guess Vocaroo, and somebody else mentioned something earlier up there. There's another great resource that was mentioned. That's okay. We can look that up later. But thank you for sharing. We need to share as many resources as we can. The downsides to everyone. Audioboo and AudioPile require registration and sign-in. Vocaroo is kind of doesn't stick around for very long. So after 2 or 3 months, the links are dead. So I am really hoping for a more permanent solution, and we'll talk about that. For Safari, does it record? Okay, Safari is a browser. Next one, next slide, please. Okay, here's a little video about how it looks in a computer lab. It will not look new to those of you who bring your classes to a computer lab anyway. But if you really want to have a look, it's there as a link. You can have a look at it. We won't spend any time looking at the video here. So I'd like to pass it over to Hala for a bit. No, I'm going to pass it to myself. Next one. Okay, sorry about that. So I work for LINC Home Study as well. And what we do for this distance learning program is we have a newsletter in which students submit their best writing, and if they get selected, they get published, and they're very proud of that. So the process begins, for my students at least, with their blogs, which are linked to mine, and that's a picture, a screen grab from my blog. On the right side in blue, you can see the tiny words, your classmates' blogs. That's a list of a blog roll of all their blogs, and they update, they write the stories there. And it all gets corrected and published in Newslink. I congratulate them on the main blog, my blog. There, it's congratulations to 4 of our own. And I found that as a pretty good incentive for them to do their writing season after season. So in this case, it's Atif who wrote a comparison of life in Pakistan and life in Canada. You can play with it as you will. And as a transition over from the formative to the summative, from Google's Blogspot to Google's Forms, I'd like to give credit to Chris Murphy, who was my mentor in LINC Home Study. He attended one of my sessions at T4T, and after the session, he said, "Hey, Joseph, why don't you try Forms?" And I'm thinking, yeah, this is a dumb idea. Sorry, Chris. I thought it was really dumb. Here we want to be as open as possible and share our pictures and words and resources. Why would anyone want to use Forms, get locked up? And he says that he uses it for administrative purposes. It goes into his records for the school. And I was thinking about that, and that directly fits the requirements of a summative assessment. So this is something that you could consider, and which I've used. It's fairly convenient, and which Tyler will now run with. And just a short blurb. Do share your ideas at these conferences. Put them in the chat box there, or by email with presenters or with each other. We are in a community here, and it's good to share all our ideas and help each other survive.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. So here I am back into camera. Excuse me, Joseph. I was just sorry, guys. Okay, so back in here. Just fix the camera. So next slide, please. Now we're moving on from formative to summative. Any questions so far? Okay, so that's, I guess, I know. Good. Now, for summative, that's, well, the actual pain for teachers, I guess so. As a teacher, I'm saying that. I believe everybody shared the same idea with me. Having paper and correcting, and you lost one of the students' marks and all this. But this is a better way, I believe so. So this is starting from the end. That's a spreadsheet you're going to see at the end of the summative assessment that captures students' first and last name, which task, the question, their response, if you're going to give a feedback, and at the end of the day, you put the magic benchmark there, all in one spreadsheet. But how can we reach that? Okay, next slide. On the way. Here we go. So we create what we call Google Form. And how we do that? First, again, this is a live link. You can click on it. I'll leave you for 1 minute to click on it and have a look, go over it quickly, come back with questions, and I'll give you, quick tips how to do that. So I'm just going to leave you for 1 minute. So everybody is looking through the link. Okay, that's good. Since nobody's answering, that means yes.
Final Jeopardy music. So far, it's great, and I think I don't know how other people feel about this, but I mean the one thing about this online portfolio is that it can be also edited, right?
Absolutely.
So if they want to come back to it, or it's very student driven in that sense, by the sounds of it, right?
That's
you
correct.
give them quite a lot of freedom over deciding how they approach it. Yeah, student owned.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, student own it, and then it's very easy for the teacher to modify, to change, to edit, to add every time you add something, even the same task, you still can play around a little bit with it. Okay, so I guess I'm going to move on. So is everyone done with the link? Yes, thank you, Karen, for answering. Okay, so quickly, because I know that you did not have enough chance to see the whole link, because I know it's about 3-4 minutes. So basically, you go on Google Forms, Google Drive first. You go on the Drive, you create a form. Okay, actually, I have it open here for myself, so I can walk you through it. So basically, you have Google Drive. Once you go to Google Drive, you say create new, and you create a form. And once you create a form, you need to put a title, questions, and then the questions you can write, like first name, last name, whatever mandatory, click that is required question. Put the question, they can copy the question, and they copy their answer. From where they copy the question? They copy the question from their blogs, because that is what we're talking about, correct? So the question will be posted on their blogs, on the class blog. They copy it, put it in form, copy their answer, and boom, shoot, submit. That's it. Okay. Next slide, please. So that is when you create a form. I have something else I want to say, that sometimes you can create a specific form. So you can make it, for example, just this form for reading or this form for writing. You can do that as well. Or you can have this free template that Joseph's going to share with you. This is shared a free template. And this one, we were just saying you can copy as many times, but please do not edit the form. So this is something you can take and play with it. I mean, use it for your class, copy as many times, but do not please edit. Okay. And so you use the forms for all the summative assessment. And as we said, if you go back a few slides to the last one, so once they create the forms, again, once you create the forms, they submit their answer, and at the end of the day, you see this one. Exactly. So this is the final one you can see. Will the students be able to see that? No. Only the teacher. Once you review the question, because usually with the form, it creates automatic an Excel form. So as you can see, questions are here, answers are here, and this column, feedback, teacher can put feedback and then finally put their mark, and it will be there for you on Google. Okay? And then I think I'm going to hand it one more time to Joseph for questions.
Okay, I hope everybody's still okay. Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to see that the session slides will be put up later. That's wonderful. And sessions being recorded. So I'm assuming that all the links will be live, the links that we've shared with you up here. So where do we go from here? There are a few areas to think about. We do not have a permanent perfect solution. Far from it. This is all cobbled together in fear and trepidation of what's ahead. There's two tsunamis that hit us. One is the CLB requirements, and the other one is the PBLA requirements, and we want to respect both and handle both as well as possible on an electronic platform. So we have just scrounged around, mainly from free resources in Google, and put this thing together. It's so far worked okay for our situation, but looking down the road, I have some concerns. So in terms of passwords, students lose their passwords very frequently because some of them are really new to a technology platform and they don't realize how important it is to remember the password. So we have to teach them protocols to recover their passwords, which isn't bad. That's a great learning opportunity. In terms of hosting, it's not hosted by your school, by CIC, it's hosted by Google. Now, we like to think of Google as being forever there, but we can't guarantee that, and it can be hacked, I guess, someday. So we could host it ourselves using a technology platform known as Tiki. I've heard of it, but I'm a non-techie, so no techie for Tiki. I need somebody else to handle that. Apparently, it's safe, it's good, it's portable, and that's the platform on which, what is it called? Tutela is built on. So we'll need expert help with that. In terms of task invigilation, there is some level of plagiarism. Now, plagiarism and some cheating that goes on. And also those who are on a distance learning platform, they may cheat and you'll never find out. We have to take all that into account. It might be worth the risk after all. It's not a big deal. We still have other forms of assessment, such as in-class peer presentations in my class. They have to come give a speech to the rest of the class. So if they can't talk in class, but suddenly on Vocaroo, there's this sweet voice that speaks like a native speaker, you know that it's probably not theirs and it's not very valid, then you can tell them that they cheated. So that's a concern, but not a fatal one.
I don't know if you can hear me or not. If you're doing that in class, again, teacher can be there, present.
Okay, thank you, Hala. In terms of privacy, they may have to sign certain photo waiver forms if they provide their own pictures. We've done that for LINC Home Study. And we don't encourage them to take selfies or their PIN number and SIN and whatever other in numbers. Okay, moving on up there. Seriously, we need to come up with some sample rubrics that are easy to use for teachers and yet effective and valid. And we certainly need to build up the CLV task bank from the samples that are provided in in CLB 2012. We need to translate all that so that it's usable to people in different CLB levels. My concern would be the lower levels because they already have some literacy and simple reading. So this e-PBLA proposal may not fit every level, especially the super lower levels. But from level high 3 and 4 and up, this should be appropriate, I think. Also, we are open to questions if you have any. Yep, right. We are, and we'll have the time for Q&A, certainly. And teacher training. I think some teachers are less confident than others, and this should be provided. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Finishing this, support group will be nice to have. It's easy. We have the platform available online. And in terms of perpetuity, the staff changes. Who keeps their password for the forms? For Blogspot, the students keep their own and they have full ownership, but that has to be kept by the institution somehow. Or the forms can be downloaded as CSV, separated values, and stored in the hard disk of the organization. And then I have an alumni page that captures all the blogs together, so they are still online and they are still connected. We have Facebook pages as well, and links on LinkedIn. And blogs can get deleted, so you may have a link to a blog of a student, and that can get deleted. I'm looking at the questions. If so, then that's not good for. Yeah, right. But then binders get lost as well, I'm told. So if you have any questions, I'm ready. Over to. That lasts longer than that. Jonathan, thank you. That's a good question. I don't. Right now, Google is as permanent as anything that I know. Barely lasts to the end of a session. Karen, what were you referring to for that? Lorna, if you save Vocaroo as MP3 files, they last forever. That is true. That is true. I'm just not sure how I could rehost it so that it's accessible to all the students at once. It's not on the cloud. It doesn't last for more than 3 months. I agree, Karen. That's for sure. Yeah, it doesn't last to the end of the session very often. Again, we have an ongoing intake, and some people come for just 1 month. But that's a very valid observation. I don't know if you pay Vocaroo whether it'll help. If you have a budget. Any comments from?
Talking about the speaking task, I have just one comment. Most of the teachers, what they do, that they do the speaking task one-on-one. They don't record it. So they cannot save it, and they assess based on that. It's one-on-one test. If you go to the exit test or any of the other books, what they do that you print out the paper and you go over the question with the students. So again, maybe it is not, I cannot save it for a long time because if people are doing it one-on-one, so it cannot be saved at all. But for this one, yeah, we wish we can find a better platform, but for now, that's all what we know about, and that's what we're dealing. So for 3 months, I think that will be good enough for now. Yeah. You just use smartphone to record and attach file to portfolios? Absolutely. I think so. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. A lot of times what we do in our own presentation, when students are presenting, what we do that we ask them to record themselves. Maybe they some of them are not comfortable to be recorded by our phones. So with their own phone, they record themselves and we go over it and we go do editing, we do, commenting, criticizing, either speaking, listening, all of that task. So definitely you can record that on your phone and your portfolio. And yeah, some of them have got smartphones, some are not, and so on. So any other questions so far? Okay, so hand it on back to Joseph.
I would be interested to know if, I'm reading. Yes, that's for sure. So we're not teaching them technology, we're just encouraging them and letting them run with it. I remind them that the seniors in Canada are some of the most advanced in the world because they want to connect with the grandchildren. And someday they will be seniors, so it's better for them to get on the platform. But I would be very open to sharing a CLB bank, a question bank, with anyone who's interested. Yes, Karen's learned a lot from her students, and so have I. Sweet. Anyone has any concerns regarding the platform itself? Would you be interested in participating on an ongoing basis if we have a forum for e-PBLA? That's not. Okay. Yeah. How much time, Jonathan writes, does an e-portfolio creation take out of each day for you? I do it a week at a go, so it takes me about an hour to do it from Monday to Friday. What about Hala?
Okay, so I'll tell you the truth. Here is my confession. I do it. It takes me about 5 to 7 minutes each morning before class time. I do a planning a week before, kind of. So yeah. So I do the week planning, but to actually put the task on the blog, it takes me, 5 minutes, sometimes less, because you just type in. I have this pull task. I pull a task and no, that's not right. It's not a panic. I'm not panicking. Okay. I just pull one of the tasks. I put it on my blog. I publish. And it's a lot of, so each day we have a different task. It's either listening, it's either speaking, writing, reading, each single day. And then we come back. So we have 1 hour lab time. And then we come back, we discuss it, and we edit the work and completely, of course, go over if you have answers, if you give them the answer key, and so on. So it's very helpful. And one thing about, somebody was talking about technology. Some people definitely, they have way better technology tools and knowledge more than us, and some they don't. And they appreciate so much us giving them the hands on that, because this is part of learning. If you're living in Canada, you're a newcomer, you're coming to this country, you need to learn computer usage and a lot of that. A lot of our feedback from students saying we're very thankful that we have been taught stuff that we didn't used to do or didn't used to have back then. So this is another part of, teaching them some skills and abilities. Good. Any other question? Oh, that's too fast for me. I can't read all that. So, okay, I'll hand it on to Joseph then.
Please, to address Jonathan's question, so they handwrite their work? No, I encourage them to type directly into, input it with a keyboard or on their smartphones directly in to save time. And that's the mode of communication these days. However, for editing, I would like to print it out, use a pencil or pen to mark it, and get them to co-edit it and then put it back onto the electronic platform on their blogs. No, they don't handwrite. No. Right. Yeah, Word can be used as well. Karen wrote spell check, grammar check, all of that. Yeah, so absolutely. It's just that it's not really in the cloud, but you could do it with Google Docs as well. So we hand it around the classes. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Wow, thank you for your attention. I really appreciate that. And the feedback as well. That's invaluable.
And thank the both of you as well. It was a great presentation with lots of great ideas, and the ideas are still flowing. Karen, I agree with the wiki as well. It's a great idea. Lots of scaffolding there as well too. So thank you very much. Thank you for attending. And there are a few questions about the slides. So long as presenters are open to sharing their slides, the slides for the sessions will be available in due time. So